what kind of advantage does each one have over the opposing hitters?
Well, I think the pitchers always have an advantage in this day and age. Joe Madden of the Rays has told me that with the dominant pitching that we have today, that all the information that we have, everything favors the pitchers today. The point is, if Madison Bumgarner is locating his pitches tonight, and if James Shields is throwing the ball where he wants to tonight, the hitters are going to have a really hard time. That's just where we are in today's game. I fully expect a well-pitched game tonight. I think this is going to be a low-scoring series because the pitching in the big leagues today is like no other time that I've seen it, and it might as well start tonight with the best pitcher in the postseason, Madison Bumgarner, against big game James Shields, who's due for a really good one tonight.
Well, both those pitchers, plus all the players from both teams, they've been sitting around a while waiting for this series opener, Tim. Let's talk about the long layoff. What kind of effect could that have on both these teams?
Well, long layovers always affect teams, at least from the history that I've seen. The 2006 Tigers had a very long layoff, and they played very poorly in the World Series. The 2007 Rockies had a long layoff, and they got swept in the World Series. You can't run a simulated game and try to make it like a real game. The only way to simulate a real game is to play a real game. But in 2006, it was freezing cold in St. Louis and Detroit. Here, the conditions and the conditions in San Francisco are going to be perfect. So I think we're going to get through this long layoff and see really well-played baseball here in both cities.
They just need a few innings under their belt. Okay, Timmy, let's talk about these two skippers. One grew up as a fan of the other team, and the other one simply has the biggest head of the game. Huh? Please explain this.
Well, Bruce Bochy, by the way, is going to the Hall of Fame as a manager. I believe he's the best manager in the game. But he does have the biggest head in baseball, and everyone in baseball knows that, and he can laugh at it himself. He's over an 8, and he told me during his playing career that when he switched teams a few times, he would have to bring his helmet with him, and his new team would have to spray paint it the new colors because no one had a helmet big enough to fit him. And then, of course, he had a walk-off homer one night off of Nolan Ryan, and the Padres, his team, ran a red carpet from the beginning of the clubhouse all the way to his locker, and in his locker, he had a 6-pack of beer with ice in his helmet. And as Terry Kennedy, one of his former teammates, told me, you know, you can get a 6-pack of beer in a lot of guys' helmets, but only in Bochy's helmet can you get a 6-pack of beer with ice.